What's up, everybody? It's your boy Bert, and today we're doing a one-day build or a 24-hour build, however you want to call it. So we're going to build a gun in one day. Today we're doing the Gravitational Beam Emitter from the badass manga and anime movie that you can see on Netflix called Blame. Let's take a look. Holy shit! Oh yeah, we definitely need one of these. Let's go ahead and make one. And we are done. So now we have the front part of the barrel, back part of the barrel, underside of the barrel, and the grip. So the grip here is actually made out of two parts. It melted a bit in the sun because I let it sit out when I was at work, and that's my fault, but I glued it back together and hit it with a heat gun. It should be fine. We'll make the most out of it. Then we've got the under part of the barrel here, which I'm guessing is kind of like the laser sight and like a camera and some other distance gauging stuff, maybe. I'm not really sure. It takes place 1,000 years in the future. They don't explain a whole hell of a lot. Then you've got the back part of the barrel here, which I actually added some custom porting, which you can see right here. I'm very fond of my 1911s and my Glocks, so I decided to add a little bit of the aesthetics that they do on the guns, just to give it a little more detail. And then I did the same thing with the front here. Now the front really is very bland. It's not super detailed or technical. It's kind of a basic designed gun. And I have to say, I really like that though. It's simple in its design and it's very simple in what it does. It fucking destroys everything in its path. Now, the gun itself, I have to give all the credit to Morgan Morey from my mini factory for making this gun. You did a hell of a job, Morgan. Thank you so much for making this thing. You are awesome. You are yes, thumbs up from Bert. So, one thing you will notice is, Bert, well, why are the insides of the barrel hollow? Well, that's a very specific reason for that. I'm a big gun person. I love guns. Now, guns have to also have a very balanced and efficient weight to them. These pieces here all together only weigh about, I don't know, an ounce a piece. So, in order to replicate the real weight of, well, let's say that, which is a Taurus 357 Magnum, which weighs just over 2 pounds, and I really, really like this gun, I've decided to hollow these out, and obviously a larger spot closer to the back so that it's more balanced over the grip, and then a little bit more at the front to give it a little bit more weight, obviously at the farther end, will make it a lot easier and a lot more comfortable to hold. A gun that doesn't have a healthy weight to it just doesn't feel right in my hands, and I don't like it. I'm going to try and start doing that with our project, is making them a realistic weight, or at least a comfortable weight. Let's go ahead and go out to the shop. Remember, always wear a mask when painting. Don't be stupid. Hey, we're back. So we got 3 coats of primer that have been drying on this over the last 3 hours. So we're at just over 10 hours of work time on this. Now, mind you, I set this to 3D print before I went to work. I came home, it was done, and then we put it together. So we're still technically on the same day. So now what we're going to do with this is we've got the 3 coats of heavy primer on it, and we use Rust-Oleum filler primer. I find this stuff to work very, very well, and it's also cheap. It's like $4.50 a can, and I can do quite a few models with this. So we got it on here, we sanded it down. We've almost got like a glass ceramic feel to it, and it feels very, very nice. And I have upscaled this by 10%, so it's 1.1 to scale, and I like it just a little bit bigger because the gun is actually very small, but I think it looks really, really nice. And I've been fighting with myself when I was at work. Did I want to paint it flat black like I do a lot of my other guns, or did I want to go high gloss like I did that super badass Trespasser from Destiny a couple months back? And I've decided to go high gloss jet black, and I think it's going to look freaking awesome. So now what we're going to do is we're going to lay this puppy down in high gloss jet black. Let's do it.
And at this point, we've got 3 coats of primer, and we've hit it with 200 grit sandpaper, and the finish is really good. The paint will adhere very, very well to it, and I have a feeling this thing will be pretty durable once it's done. But I have to say, it looks pretty good with 3 coats of primer. So let's go ahead and hit it with some high gloss jet black.
So now that we've gone ahead and painted it, I've got it through a loop, which is technically just an old coat hanger right here, going up and hooking into right here, this little J-hook that I have, and a fan is blowing up straight on it, and it's going to cause that paint to dry very, very quickly. I would be able to probably put another coat on this within, I'd say, about an hour, hour and a half. I'm going to give it 2 hours. Currently, it's only 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so we've still got a lot of time left to go. And mind you, I've only actually worked on this model from beginning to end with actual like time I've put into it for only about, I'd say, an hour, maybe less. So very cool build, and I love how efficient I finally got at making these things, because I used to put a lot of time into this, and back when I first started the channel, this would take me like hours, because I started this thing to print when I left for work at 3 o'clock. I got home at about 11. It's 1:30. Was it 1:30? It's 1:45 in the afternoon right now, so we've still got a ton of time left. I'll be able to come back in about 2 hours, I'd say, and put another coat on this, wait another 2 hours. By then it should be 5 o'clock, and by then the paint should harden enough where we can actually polish it and flatten out, because paint is still very malleable until about 7 days, and then it fully hardens. But during that time, if you're very careful, you can actually buff the soft paint and make it very smooth, almost like glass, and that's what I want to do. I want to give this an amazing glass-like texture, and it'll just look so cool, and that's what I want to do with this. So about 5 o'clock, 5 p.m., we'll be coming back and we'll be working on this a little bit more. Hey everybody, it's Bert. We're back, and I know I changed my shirt again. I had to go out and do something. Now I'm back. So we're gonna finish the build. It's about 7:30 in the evening, so we're actually making really good time. So obviously the high gloss black has dried. It looks really, really nice, and it feels good. It almost reminds me of Declan's gun from Blade Runner a little bit, except it's just, you know, massively overpowered compared to his. But we have the red and the blue in the front, and then a couple little accents on the side. And then the little fins here, I didn't color these in or anything. I want to leave them just as a aesthetic design and nothing other than that. The gun on the other side is very basic, so this side would actually look like this if I hadn't modified it. I'm going to go ahead and put this on the curing table and let it spin around. You guys can take a good look at it. But right now it is 7:30, so I started this printing early this morning. I left for work, came back after about 7.5 hours of printing. Don't quote me on that. And then we spent about 45 minutes sanding it, gluing it together, and then doing the first coat of primer, sanding that, and then waited about a half an hour for that, and then we did 2 coats of high gloss, and we let those dry 2 hours in between. So we actually made really good time on this. This is probably one of the easier builds that I've made. Nonetheless, it's still awesome because this gun, I mean, we'll go back and watch the video. I suggest you watch the anime or at least read the manga. This is literally the most OP gun ever designed in any anime I've ever seen. The caster from Outlaw Star couldn't hold a fucking flame to this thing. So go check out the anime. It's on Netflix. You can also find, you know, some other short bits that they made when they made the animated series back in like 2003 or 8, I forget. But yeah, I'm really happy with this thing. It came in at just under 160 grams of filament, so that's really not bad at all. But yeah, it's a cool build, and we got the gravitational beam emitter from Blame. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me for this build video. I've had a hell of a lot of fun getting back to making these one-day builds. Haven't done one in a while, and I really need to get back to that. So hopefully this is the first of many that I'll be chucking out here in the next several weeks and months. But as always, I am Bert from Pixel Armory. Like, favorite, subscribe, and do stay tuned for our next Exoset build video because we're going to be putting out one of those very shortly. Take care, all you glorious bastards, and I'll see you next time.